life and acting.
Yeah, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Mornings with Matt. Now, I understand that was a different intro, but that intro is so legit. It gets me so fired up that I had to play it. But here, and actually, this is true. This is true. I know Brian's going to give me a hard time. I'm telling you guys. Right? I mean, that is an intro. Here's the intro to our show.
Welcome to Mornings with Matt, personal and professional development training that connects the art of acting with critical life skills and self-mastery. Presented by the Deering Acting Studio.
I mean, that's a good one, too. You know, that's legit. But in the morning, when you want to get fired up, I mean, you really want to get fired up, listen to this. Yeah!
This is the Deering Acting Studio podcast, where we discuss the connection between life and acting.
It's pretty tight. I don't know. I might have to ask the listeners here to vote to join me and decide, you know, do we need to get this morning show started on that kind of a beat? Because I'm telling you guys, here's my deal. I believe in these things called anchors. A lot of people talk about anchors, and I've tried this. It's become a part of my life, and I just freaking love it. My chair keeps my chair keeps wanting to roll backwards. All right, so what is an anchor? Let me just explain this really quick. And this is not what the show's about today, so I'm not going to go too deep into it. But an anchor, for those of you who don't know what an anchor is, it's some sort of a physical, emotional, spiritual, it could even be a scent. It's using one of your five senses to trigger something purposefully. Now we call it an anchor. Now, you might have other triggers. You might have negative triggers, you know, and advertisers are really good at slamming you with negative triggers, by the way. And you don't even know what's happening to you. How many times you've been looking something up on the internet, and they got that little box on the side, and all of a sudden you go down this wormhole of the internet, and you're like, what? Where did the last half hour go? I didn't even want to be looking at whatever the information is, and next thing you know, you're down that path. That's because you got triggered. They knew how to trigger you based on your search history, and they trigger you, and they cause you to go down a path that you didn't necessarily want to go down. I mean, sometimes you might listen to a song that you remember from your past, and maybe it was a song you and your ex-girlfriend used to dance to or something, and you hear that song, and you just feel sad. It triggers an emotion of some kind. So I'm going to lean back from the microphone so I don't blow your ears off, but if anybody's around here, they know what my trigger is. I have a very specific trigger. I even did it yesterday during our casting, where when I wake up, except for in the early morning, because I don't want to wake up my wife and my whole family. I don't want my wife to come after me. But I nap every day, and I do little meditations every day. And even just when I want to just get a jump start, like when I want to turn it on, I go, it's time. Let's go. Like, let's do this. If you know me, you've been around here, it goes like this. I go, just like that. And it's my own sound that I made up, that I sort of borrowed inspiration from a rap artist named Atmosphere that I really like his music. And so it's interesting. But just that doing that, you know, I wake up, let's say I'm totally groggy, and I snap like that, and I make that sound, and all of a sudden it triggers everything in my body that just says, like, let's go. Like, let's do this. And it helps me avoid that trap of waking up and slowly moving from one thing to the next thing. And just being like, it's time to get up. It's time to move on to the next thing. Oh, tired, blah, 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 blah. No, man, let's just go. Like, what are you waiting for? You got your rest. Let's rock it. Let's see. Brian Sweeney sending me a text message. Let me make sure that all is good. Bri Guy, I know you're watching, buddy. You're on the road back from Colorado. I'm sure you're excited to be back here in the studio. But let me tell you, the studio is ricketin' rockin'. How we doing, man? Send me a text message. Let me know everything's all good on your end. It looks good on my end. I'm loving this morning. So it's a good thing I talked about this trigger thing, which is actually, it's funny how these things work, but it's a happy accident that I talked about triggers and I talked about that specific trigger because today we are talking about going all in. And I was inspired by this to talk about this topic yesterday because I get inspired by my kids all the time. They're very awesome, my kids. Let's get a big round of applause for Matt and Leanne's kids, can we? Thank you. I agree. They're amazing. So my youngest, his name is Finn, and so I call him Finny Bruiser. So he's like, and I do a little voice for him. Hey guys, it's me, it's Finny Bruiser. And if you knew him, if you could see Finn, I wish I had like a photo I could put back here. I mean, the kid is a monster. And he's a year and a half. And he was a monster at age 10, this little boy. He was already walking, already like he embodies the idea of all in. And the reason is I got inspired by this topic yesterday by him was we had wrapped up the casting, and it was time to shut down. It was time to clean. And my wife was the last one in. She came in with the kids, and they were in the other room while she auditioned, and then we just played a little bit, I mean, he got on camera, he was having fun, but then I was bragging on him. I was telling the two of the helpers that were here. Dakota showed up to help clean. Thank you, Dakota. Yeah, and as I mentioned yesterday, Saya Luke was in the house. And she did an amazing job assisting. As a matter of fact, I'd love to talk about her and the service she did. I don't know if we'll have time for that today, but otherwise we'll talk about that later. So we're watching Finn, and I'm just sitting there bragging on him. I'm like, this kid's a beast, and I show them. I have this video of my son from like a couple months ago, and mind you, he's what is he like? 13 months maybe at the time, 14 months old. So like most kids are if barely walking maybe, if on the average I'd say. This beast of a child runs up to the pool table. Okay, so it's like this high for him. On his tippy toes, he can barely touch the top. He's kind of a tall kid. On his barely tippy toes is this 14-month-old, and he pulls himself up on the pool table. And I was like, oh man, like nothing's safe in this house. There's not a single thing that is safe. This kid can scale the walls. He's like Spider-Man. And so I was talking about him, and I was like, you guys watch the way he moves. The kid's all in. And I believe in this idea of trying to live a Finny Bruiser lifestyle. Trying to be all in all that you do. But that's a really hard thing to do. So how does Finny Bruiser go all in? Okay. So we talked about the pool table. He wants to play billiards, and my wife told him, hey, would you stop pushing the chair over? You're not allowed to use the chair and climb up on the pool table anymore, little 14-month-old. Stop it. So Finny goes, oh, that's cool, man. No problem. I'm just going to pull myself up there and do it without the chair. All in. Okay. All right. Well, that's an extreme example. Well, let's look at other things. So I'm watching Finn. When he's walking, this kid, he's got little balls already for his calves. He's got little Finney Bruiser calf muscles. Why? Because when he walks up on his tippy toes. He's walking with purpose. He's walking in this all-in manner, and you watch him. He just got purpose. When we were watching him, and this was nuts. I was like, Finn, where's the football? He loves football. Where's the football, Finn? And he immediately goes like this. He's searching, and he's like, his head is like protruded. His arms are back like this, and he's looking around for the football. He's all in just on looking for something. How many times have you been looking for something and you're just kind of like, I mean, I know I do this. My wife calls me a bad looker. I'm looking for, like, let's say my glasses, okay, which are right here, and let's say they're hiding under my hat, okay. So, and I'm looking for my glasses, and I'm like, I don't see them. Well, I guess they must not be in here. Babe, I can't find my glasses. Did you look? Yeah, I looked. You're a bad looker. That's a conversation we have often. Now, imagine if I took a Finney Bruiser approach to looking. I'd be like all in. I got to, like, pick this up, pick that. Oh, there's my glasses. Found them. Now on to my next thing, all in. Okay. I'm going to take even something crazy. I mean, and this is interesting because I believe in this concept too. But even to watch television. My son, Finn, he doesn't really like to watch TV all that much. When there's anything on, he's kind of doing something else. But oh boy, tell you what, he's got a trigger. His trigger is Thomas the Train Engine. Oof, Thomas and Friends, come on now. Songs like this, it's like, let's go, go, go on a big world adventure. Like it starts, I'm sorry, I was singing, but the song's in my head. So anyway, it's go, go, go is the beginning of the song. And so it's so cute. We'll be like, he'll be like, go, 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 go. It means he wants to watch Thomas and Friends. And so even when he watches television, the way he sits down, full body, he jumps and plops himself on the couch, and then he's back like this, and he's all in on the television in that show, in that moment, until it's over, and then he's on to the next thing. And then when he sleeps hard. The boy sleeps hard because he goes all in. Okay. So, going all in. How do we use this concept to try to make the people around us feel special, to maximize sales calls, to to do our best in running a business, to run corporate meetings or boardrooms or even like date night? I think you know where I'm going here. You got to be all in on it. You got to be all in. So it's a mindset. It's a mindset to decide I'm going to go all in. I know if you're listening to this, that means that you're somebody who wants to take your life next level. You already are probably, and you're in a state and you're like, I just like the way this guy talks. He's funny. He talks about his kids. It's hilarious. I'm tuning in because I just want to see what crazy thing he's got to say next and see how I can apply it. Okay, good. So you wouldn't be drawn to the show if you were not that type of person. So I'll imagine that you're that type of person already, or that you're curious about becoming that type of person. Because we those of us who are this way weren't always necessarily. We had to learn it from somebody or some time and have some kind of a light switch go off. So imagining that is the case for you, and you're thinking, okay, well, how do I apply this? How do I go next level? Well, it is a mindset to be all in. And I know that you've felt it before because we all have. So there are certain times, and this is like for everybody. I don't care if you don't care about, bettering yourself and all this stuff that I believe in and I spend time on. I don't care if you believe in any of that. Even if you're just a person who is right where they are, who loves where they are, very content with that place, and you work your job and you come home and you love your weekends and all that, and good for you, by the way. No judgment. That's very cool. But even if you're that person, you know exactly what I'm talking about when I say everybody's experienced something where they've been all in. Because when you're all in, nothing else matters. Nothing. There's not a single other thing that matters in the entire world because you're all in on that thing. So I don't care if it's a poker game with your friends and you're playing poker, and obviously the idea of going all in. If you go all in, like really go all in a poker game, and you've got real money on the table, trust me, you're not thinking about anything else right now. Maybe your mortgage, I guess, but you push your money in the table, and you're going like you really are concentrating on the cards, and you're concentrating on your opponent. It's what it means to go all in. I'm putting all my chips out there. If you're a business owner, I can tell you 100%. If you've still survived this pandemic and you've even just been around for more than a couple years, you know what I'm talking about, going all in. If you're married, guarantee you know what it's like to be all in. Now, maybe you haven't continued to go all in. You need to. But that wedding day, when that girl was walking down that aisle, or you were walking down the aisle looking at that man at the end of that aisle, I promise you were all in. You were all in. That moment was all that mattered. And that's what it means to go all in, to be fully, completely engulfed in something, in doing something. So these little episodes that I do by myself where I just kind of rant and talk about some things, I'm trying to stay congruent with the book that I'm writing, The Best Listener in the Room. I want to just give you all teasers as we go and keep you activated with what's going on in my mind. So I'm not going directly into the next chapter right now as what I'm speaking about. I'm giving you a little bit of a teaser for what I will be writing about in about a month from now. Maybe sooner. We'll see my writing prowess over the next few weeks. But this is chapter 5 that I'm speaking of right now. And chapter 5 is called Engaged. And engaged is to be all in. It's the same concept. I actually wrote about this a year ago. So it's not a new concept for me. It's just, it was new watching how my 1.5-year-old was demonstrating it so perfectly. That was new. So that's probably going to be in the book now because I saw that and it was like, phew. I mean, it's extraordinary to watch. And you don't want to watch anything else. You don't want to be a part of anything else. You just want to be all in with this kid. Or you're afraid, you're terrified to not be all in with this kid because otherwise he's going to be up the stairs and he's going to be rolling down those stairs because he's not only going to go all in going up, he's going to go all in going down. And that kid's he's going to catch some bruises, Mr. Finney Bruiser. So to be engaged, right? I'll tell you another time you've probably been fully engaged. And I only mention these things. I mention these ideas, being all in, being fully engaged. And I like to demonstrate to you that what I'm saying is true. Therefore, you don't think that this is just for certain people and not for you. So if you don't relate to anything I've said so far, maybe you'll relate to this. What about watching your favorite sports team? And they made it really far. And it's the end of the game, and it's a close game. Watching the Super Bowl, it's a close game. It's a couple points away. Watching the NBA Finals, watching the end of a golf tournament. My father-in-law came up to me in the pool on Sunday, and he was telling me about this golf tournament that happened. And it was like an amazing thing. I'm going to repeat it, so hopefully he got his facts right because I'm now going to tell you a watered-down version of what he told me. So all of you who watched golf, if I screw this up, I'm sorry. But the one golfer, okay, he's going up head-to-head against the other golfer here at the very end of the tournament, and he goes to hit a putt. And per the rules, you're supposed to pick up your ball, put a marker exactly where the ball is, clean your ball, put your ball back down, and then you can putt. Well, he forgot to do the marker. He just put his toe there. He put his shoe. He picked up the ball, cleaned the ball, put it back where his shoe was, but he didn't use the marker that you're supposed to use the marker. Well, golf, they take that very seriously because you could adjust the ball left to right or this way, that way, and so there's a reason the rule is there. But it was one of those little ticky-tack rules, and one of the officials saw him, and they came up and said, "Hey, you did this thing. I'm sorry. I got to cost you a stroke." So this golfer lost a stroke here at the very end. Well, guess what? They end up tying at the end of 18 holes. Like, they tie, and if it wasn't for this little penalty stroke, the guy would have won. He'd have won flat out. But now he's in this overtime match. Okay, so now he's in the overtime match, and the announcers are like, "Well, man, he should have won that thing all out. I wonder how this is gonna mess with his head, Oh man, he's gonna mess with his head." So he hits his first shot, and he's like in a bad shot. It's like the rough or something. The other guy's in the fairway. Then they go up onto the green, and the guy who had the penalty shot, he goes past the green and into like more rough stuff, and he's got a really long sort of like chip and putt thing, and the other guy's right on the green, got about 15-foot putt. So you think the guy that got the penalty, he's going to lose, And again, I didn't see this. I'm recounting the excitement from my father-in-law. Was telling me this story. And so then he tells the story and he says, but the guy who had the penalty shot, he chips it up, and I'm gonna exaggerate because I have no idea. I didn't see it. But he does this little chip, and the ball winds around the green, and it lands, and it kind of and then goes right in the hole. And then the other guy that didn't have the penalty shot had a 15-foot putt, which is a hard putt, and I guess he barely missed. So the guy who originally had that little ticky-tack penalty, he ends up winning anyway. And my father-in-law says, and you feel good for the guy. It was nice because he had that ticky-tack thing, and you're like, you sort of were rooting for him that he would win. Okay. Well, guess what? At the end of that golf match, my father-in-law wasn't worried about anything else in the entire world. There was nothing else that mattered to him except for that. He was all in. He was all in on that thing. So that's what I'm saying. If you've experienced this, and I just know you have, the question is, how do you get there more often, and how do you do it more often, and how do you make this a part of your life? Because I'm telling you right now, if you're driving the car coming back from Colorado, you better be all in on the road. And it's the people that aren't all in when they drive that get you in trouble. Those are the people that make mistakes. If you're doing anything, you're doing your homework. If you got some big old homework assignments, you're studying for the SATs, whatever it is, you better be all in on that thing, or you're gonna make some mistakes. And it's easier said than done because our minds are so just vast and crazy. I can tell you one of my biggest struggles right now, and it's something that I'm actually purposefully working on. I'm studying to try to get better at it, is sleeping. I have a hard time going all in on sleep because I don't know what it is. So I have to beat it. I'm not gonna sit here and make excuses and go, "Well, it's because I'm all in all day, man, and I want to do my thing." No, it's a skill I need to master. I gotta master it. So right now I get these little 4-hour stretches, and that's great, but it's hard for me to fall asleep. And this came up a couple shows ago, but truthfully, some people they just go out. I know Joey just falls asleep on a dime. Like literally, there's a dime on the ground. Joey's gonna lay on his head on it, and he's gonna fall asleep. That's something that Joey, he works here. You all know Joey, that he can do. My wife, same thing. And what's interesting is I was talking to my wife last night, and she's I would say she's good at sleep. She's great at it, and I'm not in this way. So I'm trying to get better at it so that I can make a choice. I mean, sometimes I'm gonna want to be up, but when I want to go down, I want to be good at going down. I want to get good at it. So it's an area of improvement right now for me. But I noticed something about her the other night. We were talking about whether or not I was going to come home right that second or if I was going to wait a minute. And sometimes that depends on, if she has any energy at the end of the night and, if we're going to get to see each other and whatnot. And so she said these words to me. She's like, yeah, babe, I'm so excited to fall asleep. I'm just so excited to sleep. And she said that, and I was like, huh, interesting. She's like, what? I said, I don't think I've ever said I'm excited to go to sleep. I don't think I've ever actually said those words. And that's interesting to me. Since I'm trying to become better at sleeping, that's a mindset thing. Like that is a way to shift myself, and maybe I can start using some of these little tricks. I'm going to start paying attention to what you do and say, because obviously you're good at this thing that I'm not very good at. Okay. So we want to be able to go all in it, and the first thing to do to get better at this is to acknowledge the places where you're not great at going all in, but you have to notice it. And it happens to us all day, every day. There are times when you'll just catch yourself, and you got to catch yourself, and you got to say, wow, I'm not all in on this thing right now. I'm thinking about this, I'm doing this. Well, if you're thinking about that while you're doing this isn't going to be done very well. And that ain't going to get better either, because you're not working on that. You're thinking about that, but you're doing this. So ideally, we start to segment our minds, and we start to sort of block things off and become fully engaged in whatever activity it is. And full engagement, and this is a much bigger topic. I have a whole chapter on this. But to give you like a brief overview of it, to be fully engaged means that you are it's a full body experience to be engaged, full body. And again, you know what I'm talking about. If you're rooting on one of your sports teams, I mean, it's all your whole self is in it. Your body, mind, spirit. I mean, and as soon as they throw that touchdown and you're like on the edge and you can feel the tension, and it's crazy. That's what it is to be fully engaged in an activity. And if you can get yourself to that place, whatever activity you're doing, you're going to do better. You're going to be more attractive in that state. So without going deeper into it, because I'll start just like glazing over certain topics, and they really probably deserve their own episodes. So I'm going to leave us there. But for today, what I'd like you to do, I'm going to just give a little takeaway for today. I want you to realize that you can live a Finney Bruiser lifestyle. Finney Bruiser, to rewind, is my 1.5-year-old who just goes all in on everything. Dude's a beast. So how do you live a Finney Bruiser all-in lifestyle? I'm going to tell you right now. You got to start by just acknowledging, when am I all in? What does it feel like to be all in? And acknowledge the times that you're not, and be okay with the fact that you're not perfect. Because I think that's a lot of people's biggest issue, is they want to be like, I did my best. What is the worst sound I can come up with? I need more sounds, Joey. I'm gonna work on this. I'm gonna work on this before you get back. That's not even good enough. It just needs to be like a fart sound, like I did my best. Here's the thing. Okay, sometimes that's true, but most of the time, you either didn't, or who cares? I'm sorry to say it, but who cares? You did your best. Okay, all right, great, do better. I mean, I don't know. What? You try again. I did my best. Fine, you didn't win, so what? So now what? What are you going to do, right? If you follow a sports team, you don't want to hear someone say, I did my best. Like, you don't want to hear that. You want to hear, I'm going to get better. I mean, that's the truth. So the first step is to acknowledge, okay, all right, in this area, in this moment, I'm not all in. Why am I not all in? Ask yourself that question. Why am I not all in this moment? Why am I not fully engaged right now? And if you can get to the why, maybe you should just be fully engaged in something else. That's okay. That's a great thing. That's an amazing, amazing thing to figure out is, I'm not all in on this because this is on my mind. Boom. Go all in on that other thing. Go all in. Get that thing done. Get it off your plate. Then you can come back and be all in on the other thing. So acknowledging it, acknowledging that you're not perfect, rather than trying to get defensive and being like, I'm doing my best, man. I'm doing everything I can. No, you're not. Stop it. Stop saying that. It's not helpful. It doesn't help you, and it doesn't help the people around you, because if that's the problem is this. If somebody loves you enough to tell you, like, hey, you seem like you're in a funk today, like it seems like you're off. Hey, I'm trying to figure out what's going on because you're not delivering work up to a certain standard that is expected. And you're like, I'm doing my best, man. I'm doing my best, the very best I could possibly do, man. If you respond in that way, the issue is it doesn't make you sound good. And as a matter of fact, if it's true, maybe I don't want you working here anymore. I mean, because if that's your best, okay. But what I was trying to tell you is I was giving you the benefit of the doubt because I believe you could do better. I believe that you've got a lot of potential. And what I saw today, or what I'm seeing in this moment, is not a reflection of how good I believe you could be. So I'm trying to get to the bottom of it. Wow, that's somebody who really loves you. But you respond with I'm doing my best, man. I'm doing everything I can. But I'm here, aren't I? Well, being here isn't good enough. You got to be all in. You got to give it everything you got. There's not a single employer in the world who wants to have an employee whose mind is elsewhere when you're on the job. Nope. I say this all the time. If you want to make it someplace, you want to really make it at a job, go do the equivalent of cleaning the toilets. And that's going to be its own episode as well. But do the equivalent of the lowest job you can find. Because when you serve and you go all in, you will be noticed, and you'll just leapfrog over everybody else because you're willing to do the thing that nobody else was willing to do, and you demonstrate this all-in mentality. You'll be noticed for it, and they're going to want you on their team. They're going to want you in a leadership position, because what happens is leaders must lead, and when they lead, everyone else is going to follow. So they understand that I have to have somebody who has an all-in mindset in a leadership position. Otherwise, they're going to have a different mindset, and everyone else is going to follow that different mindset. But I need everybody to follow the all-in mindset. So if you have an all-in mindset, you're going to progress through whatever company it is, I promise you. Okay, everybody, this has been our show, Mornings with Matt. Thank you so much for tuning in. Today we talked about going all in, and I'm going to highly recommend that you do a little bit of self-reflection today. Look at the areas where you have gone all in the past, that you are going all in now, and then be very honest with yourself, moment to moment. Am I all in right now? Am I fully engaged in this activity? Then if you're not, ask yourself why you're not. Because you either need to get there, or you got to change whatever it is you're doing and do something else that is all in. All right, here's our outro, everybody. It's not going to be that crazy intro. I mean, I know how much you want to hear this, because I do too. But that's not an outro anyway. We're going to go to our outro. Love you all very much. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please do not forget to like, subscribe, and share this channel, because we need to spread this light-driven content to the planet. Ladies and gentlemen, we're also going to be doing a fundraiser for our nonprofit Lighthouse Theater, and it's all about that. It's about spreading light-driven content to the planet. We want to impact a lot of people with Deering Acting Studio and with Lighthouse Theater. So please, please, please tune in, be ready. There are going to be plenty of ways you can give to help us keep this show going, and to be putting up different plays and putting up our comedy shows and doing all kinds of different really wonderful things. So please look out for that fundraiser. It's coming up, I believe, in the beginning of October. So we got about a month to gear up for this thing. So anyway, that's it. Thank you so much. Like, share, subscribe. God bless.
Thanks for listening to Mornings with Matt. Please like, subscribe, and follow us at Deering Acting Studio to keep up with the latest content. For more information on classes, private lessons, or professional development coaching, visit www.deeringstudio.com. Have a Deering day, everyone.
That was very well said, Joey. Even though Joey's not here, he's still representing. I agree with Joey. You need to like, share, and subscribe. Goodbye.